Super Peter Leitch, thank you very much.
No worries.
Appreciate your time.
Oompher is brought the bad weather with you too, which is not very pleasant.
I know. Yeah. Oompher is all about inspiring people to achieve extraordinary things. So who and what during your life and career has inspired you?
No one really. It was just a challenge of life, really. I left home in Wellington. I was born in Wellington and left home there when I was relatively young, circumstances, and come to Auckland, and I really had a job in a butcher shop. Well, I was a grave digger when I first got here, to be fair, but I had a job in a butcher shop, and the boss wasn't that good, to be fair.
Okay.
You know? And then a guy called Harold Hill offered to finance me into a little shop in Rosella Road in Mangere, and that's where the journey of the Mad Butcher started, really. And I was not ambitious. I mean, I'm not a well-educated man. I don't know my alphabet or times table, so you know, I was never going to be a rocket science or a doctor or that, you know. And this guy gave me an opportunity, wanted to get rid of a block of shops, and he had an empty shop, butcher shop, and he wanted to let it, and he finds me into it, and you know, a chain of events happened. He then sold the block, and a bloke bought it, and he was greedy. Often if you make decisions on dollars only, you make the wrong decisions. And this guy put the rent up, and I moved out, and the block of shops went backwards after that, so his investment went to a very minus. He lost a lot of money because he made a silly decision. He was greedy, to be fair, and greed, when you're greedy, you don't often make the right decisions. And the journey started. We went to 268 Massey Road. The Mad Butcher shop is still there, actually. I only sold that a couple of years ago. I sold the company maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And in retail, it's position, and it was a better position. And things started to take off, and then the journey started, and yeah, it was just an incredible ride, to be fair. I mean, it's a fairy tale story, really.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it is a fairy, because I've never been driven by money.
Yeah.
Anyone that knows me well will tell you that, you know. I mean, say people compare me with Michael Hill, and I said, well, wait, back the truck up. Michael Hill's got a golf course in his backyard. I've got a trampoline in my backyard. You know, he's got a big super yacht. I've got a kayak, I said, you know. So there's no comparison. I mean, I look at Michael Hill as one of the great New Zealand business people. What he's achieved, you know, is fantastic.
So did he inspire you? Did Michael
No, he wasn't around when I started.
Okay,
No. But no, mine was just about feeding my family. I had I had one young daughter at the time, and it was about feeding the family. And mate, I just enjoyed the ride. You know, I got onto radio.
So you left Wellington Technical College when you were 15 in 1959, and were a newspaper boy for a while, and then got your butchery apprenticeship at age 16.
No, to be fair, there was no apprenticeships.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When I left school, I used to sell papers after school. Yeah. Evening Post, you know. And I went from there, left school, and I started in the P&T in those days, in the big warehouse. Yeah. And I always remember I had to get an order out for some toilet rolls for the Newland post office, and I had to get 3 signatures, and I had to go over this massive place. It was about 12 football fields, you know, to get these 3 signatures. I thought, God, this is no way to go. Yeah. I had a stint delivering telegrams, and then I got a job as a butcher's boy in Seatoon in Wellington, but there was no apprenticeships in those days, and that's where the journey for me started. And from there I went from Newtown to Cuba Street in Wellington, and then back to Newtown, where I worked for a little while, and then headed up to Auckland.
And what do you remember about your school days?
Well, the school days are funny, you know. It's they done This Is Your Life on me, and one of the highlights for me was they brought a teacher on the program who was my last teacher at school, Mrs. Main. And she taught outside the square, and I learnt more out of her than all the other years at school, really. I don't remember a lot, really, because when you're not that bright, it's not that exciting, to be fair. You know, it went 4B1, 4B2, 4B3, 4B4, and I was in 4B4. I was one of the dumbest, me and another guy called Murray Gifford. So, but I had a bit of fun in that, but certainly it wasn't great days, you know what I mean?
And when you brought your first business in 67, what were the key differences you found between managing a business and actually running your own?
Oh, to be fair, I had no idea what it was like to own a business because I had managed the shop.
Yeah.
I'd managed a little one-man shop, you know.
Yeah.
And I survived really through determination and hard work. I used to have 2 other jobs as well as run my own little butcher shop because it wasn't making a lot of money because it was in the side street. So, you know, it was a matter of just digging in and, you know, being a bit picky and not throwing the towel in, and we, you know, fought on. And as I say, you know, life for me has been turns and, you know, taking the chances, and, you know, the landlord putting the rent up and I had to move out. There's a shop around the corner that's empty and everyone said that shop was condemned, and you don't believe what people tell you, you find out. So I went to the council and there was, no, it's not condemned. So then I tracked down the owner and he wasn't that keen on letting it. So then I went to his wife and chased her and told her how much money she would have got if, you know, and
Okay, and what do you reckon is one of the most misunderstood things about business owners? What do you think society doesn't really understand? Is it bloody hard work? Is that what you found?
Oh, there's no question about that.
Yeah.
When you own a business, it's not like when you go to work, you can just, as you walk out the door, you can turn off. When you own a business, it's 24/7, you know, and no matter what, I remember I dropped the knife in the back of my leg, and my leg swelled up like that. The doctor said, you know, you'll be off for 2 weeks. I said, you're joking, mate. And mate, it was straight back to work. And I remember coming home that night, my 2 young girls just freaked out because the blood was over the jeans, and, you know, but I had to work. There was no ifs or buts, you know, had to front up.
Yeah, and as you said before, when you're at Rosella Road, you quoted before, you're sort of like wind in the wrong location, and then you move to a better location. I didn't actually
use that technology, to be sure. I don't swear like that, you know. Us knights are, you know, not like that. Something might fall on my head in a minute.
But did you find that, do you reckon in society we spend too much time in business trying to make something work quite often when it's just doomed from the start, as you found with the location of your other shop?
In all honesty, I'm the wrong bloke to ask, because I was a pretty simple person.
Yeah.
And I just went to work and I kept knocking on the door.
Yeah.
And then one day the door opened. And you know what the crazy thing about me? When I sold the business, I had no idea how big it was.
Okay.
I had no idea. It was just my little baby. And believe me, I loved it. And I still love the brand today. But I remember a friend of mine asked me to go and look at a business. And we looked at this business and they wanted an astronomical amount of money for it. They weren't making much money. And they were turning over a pittance what I was turning over, and the guy had his head up, it was big time. And if you get your head up, you can't see where you're going or hear what people are saying, and that's very important, you know.
Okay.
It's very important to listen to people and, you know, to have a look at the, you know, around you. And I went home that night and I said to my wife, gee, you know, our business wasn't that small, because when we sold it, we're doing about 4 million a week or something, you know. But it was just our little baby. You know, we grew it from a little thing, and it was, and we fought, you know, when you look at it, we fought the trend, we fought the supermarkets, you know, who are monsters, they want to own the world, you know. And to be fair, the public need people like the Mad Butcher chain to keep them honest, to be fair.
Yeah.
You know, that's really important.
Yeah.
Because competition is good. You can get too much sometimes, but you know, you need a balance.
Yeah. And through growing the business, you obviously fronted all the marketing campaigns and still do a lot today. What did you learn about marketing? What would some of your top marketing tips be for business owners out there?
To be fair, not marketing, but just principles in life.
Okay.
Treat people how you want to be treated yourself.
Yeah.
The Mad Butcher, when I owned the company, was never taken to the fair trading court, or there was never a complaint. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We were never prosecuted. You know, for, you know, misleading advertising or that, you know, Yeah. So you just got to treat people fairly and honestly, you know, and the rest falls into place.
Okay. And for people out there wanting to start a business, what would you say about the journey? Has it been rewarding for you?
oh, well, I wouldn't be living where I am now and doing the things I do. You know, I've you know, to be knighted, you know, and to get the QSM, very humbling experience, to be fair. And I accept the QSM on behalf of the people that made me what I am, because if people hadn't have brought meat off there, I wouldn't have got it. But I think, you know, it's simple, hard work, integrity and honesty. You know, they're things you can't buy, you know. Look, I'm proud that you've never read my name in the paper about ripping people off. And, you know, a lot of people say to me, when the Mad Butcher went public, why didn't you buy shares in it? Well, I didn't want to buy shares in it because if the company was to go belly up or that, I didn't want the people to be able to come up to me and say, oh, we only bought them because of you, now we've lost our money. You know what I mean? And I knew I would have made money because I knew that from what they sold for, they would go up within a month or so, and I could have sold and made a few million. But it's my credibility's more than the profit to me. Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. And obviously you do a lot of charity work today.
Not so much now, mate. I'm 7 years old now, and I'm slowing down a little bit, and I still do a bit. But look, to be honest, I get embarrassed when people say what you said, because I'm not a knight in shining armour. I've just done what I could do. And if we all do a little bit, we can make a difference.
Okay.
And you got to remember, the greatest gift you can give anyone in your life is your time. You know, I could give you $1,000 today, it means nothing, but I've given you my time, and you can't buy time.
Yeah, exactly.
When our maker wants us, calls us, we're gone.
Doesn't matter if you're the richest man in the world. You can't say, here's $1 billion. I want another few years. You go. You know what I mean? So you've got to remember those things, principal things, you know. Time is a great value. And if we all do a little bit, often people say to me, you know, should so-and-so do more? No, just do what you want to do and what you can afford and, you know,
Okay. And when you look over your whole career, what are you most proud of today?
Oh, my wife and family, really. I've got a wonderful wife and a good family, 2 daughters, 4 grandchildren. My oldest granddaughter's, I think, 22. I call her my princess. And I love it. She comes to the league now. She loves the league. So I love saying, that's my granddaughter, that's my granddaughter. You know? And she's a good looker, to be fair. So I keep the boys at arm's length. Yeah.
Good stuff, good stuff. So I've just got a couple of quick fire questions to finish off now. What does it take to be a businessman, Sir Peter?
Don't ask me, mate.
Don't ask you.
I'm a butcher. Look,
you're a butcher. Yeah.
Michael Hill, go and see Michael Hill. He's a very smart businessman. Or Graham Hart, mate.
Yeah.
You know, but you wouldn't be lucky to get an interview with him.
Yeah.
Look, I'm just a guy I'm the Kiwi dream.
Yeah.
Started a little shop, grew to a big chain of butcher shops.
Yeah.
And it is the Kiwi dream. I'm not some whiz kid businessman, because, mate, I'd have a bloody golf course in my backyard, you know.
Yeah.
Like Michael Hill.
Yeah. But it's been fun, hasn't it?
It's been a wonderful ride. And to be honest with you, I don't think Michael Hill, Graham Hart have had the fun I've had and met the wonderful people. Mate, I could tell you stories till the cows come home.
Yeah.
Wonderful stories of people. When I got my cancer, the support I got. I get stopped in the street, and beautiful, beautiful stories. And I've had a wonderful time. My involvement with sport and, you know, taking Sir Graham Henry out kayaking, you know, things you can't buy, mate.
Yeah. So, Sir Peter, what would the 16-year-old boy you were think of the man you've become today? Would he be pretty proud of you? Would he recognise you?
Yeah, I think he would be, but more importantly, I think my mum and dad would be very proud.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you a little story. A few years ago, I was at a party, and a bloke that had known me from right back the road, well, actually Michael's Avenue, where I used to manage the shop. I heard him say to a guy, and this made me really proud. The guy said to him, oh, you've known him? I've known him since he started. And he's still the mad bastard that I first met. Hasn't changed, has it? And that made me feel really proud. I mean, you might laugh at it, but that made me feel good, because, mate, it's so easy. People have a little bit of success and they get their head up their ass and they think they're better than other people.
Yeah.
I still like to think I'm humble. I still, you know, if I happen to be in one of the Mad Butcher shops, I'll carry a ladies' meat out. And I remember just recently I was at the Mad Butcher Mangere, and I carried a ladies' meat out, and she said to me, you're famous, she said, you're a millionaire, she said. I said, I'm not a bloody millionaire, I said, I'm only on the benefit, you know. And I said, without people like you, I wouldn't have
I wouldn't be where I am today,
Yeah.
you know. And I think never forget where you come from.
Yeah.
I think it's important, you know. I do think that's very important. But the thing about me, for all the young people that may see this, you don't have to be the Rhodes Scholar in the class.
Yeah.
Even a dumb like the butcher can do okay.
Yeah, good stuff. So, Sir Peter, to finish, can you look down the camera and tell us, what are your wise words for the people of New Zealand?
Enjoy yourself. You live in one of the greatest countries in the world. I've travelled the world. And let me tell you, I live in New Zealand by choice because it is the greatest country in the world. So enjoy it.
Sir Peter, thanks so much.
No worries.
Cheers.